Hi, and welcome to the news headlines at this hour. In her first 2 days as Joe Biden's running mate, Kamala Harris has fired off the campaign's sharpest criticism of President Donald Trump's shortcomings. She has vouched for Biden's character on race and more. And the enthusiasm surrounding her historic candidacy has brought a record $36 million, including contributions from 158,000 new donors. The campaign hopes it is just the beginning. With less than 3 months before the election, Harris is rapidly embracing her new role. Democratic operatives and Harris's allies believe she is energized while what she has been a relatively quiet campaign that has often preferred to keep the attention on the turbulence of Trump's White House. She is already making a vigorous case for Trump's defeat, allowing Biden to focus more on his own policy prescriptions and less on direct attacks. A federal prosecutor who has jailed some of Venezuela's biggest crooks is stepping down. The press has learned, leaving a void that could dampen U.S. efforts to expose criminal activity in the South American country amid rising tensions with the Trump administration. Michael Nadler, an assistant U.S. attorney, is leaving to enter private practice next month at the Miami firm Shumbazer and Sloman, said a person familiar with the move who insisted on speaking anonymously because it hadn't been made public. Nadler, 48, has indicated multiple Venezuelan cabinet ministers, businessmen and Swiss bankers as a part of a sustained effort by investigators in Southern District of Florida to recover some of the $300 million estimated to have been stolen from Venezuela in 2 decades of socialist rule. Hospitals in Madagascar have been struggling to cope with the surge of COVID-19 cases, while the president has been promoting an unproven product he says can cure the disease, despite the WHO warning against using untested remedies. Cases have quadrupled in the past month in the Indian Ocean island, with more than 13,000 infections and 162 deaths from coronavirus, which has spread to all but one of the 22 regions. The UN Security Council started voting on Thursday evening on a US resolution that would indefinitely extend the UN arms embargo on Iran, a measure that faces strong opposition from Russia and China and is almost certain to be defeated. The results of the email voting because of the COVID-19 pandemic are expected to be announced on Friday evening, and it is likely the resolution will not get the minimum 9 yes votes in the 15-member Security Council for Russia and China to use their vetoes. The Trump administration called for the vote hours after U.S. Ambassador Kelly Craft urged European nations that support the nuclear deal with Iran to put in writing their ideas to extend the expiring arms embargo on the Islamic Republic, indicating that the United States may be willing to compromise on its demand for an indefinite extension. With 89 days to go until the 2020 presidential elections, President Donald Trump on Thursday unveiled a deal between Israel and United Arab Emirates that marks a significant step in establishing peace in the Middle East, a promise Trump made in his first 100 days in office. Speaking with reporters on Thursday, Trump joked that he wanted the pact, an agreement to normalize diplomatic relations, to be called the Donald J. Trump Accord. National Security Advisor Robert O'Brien said it would surprise him if Trump was nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize because of his role in helping broker the deal. The United Nations Cultural Agency said on Thursday it will lead the international campaign for the recovery and restoration of Beiruts' heritage, citing local officials who said that around 60 historic buildings in the Lebanese capital were at a risk of collapse following last week's devastating explosion at the Beirut port. On August 4th, some 2,750 tons of ammonium nitrate stored at Beiruts port blew up, obliterating the city's main commercial hub and spreading death and wreckage for miles around. The blast, that most destructive in Lebanon's troubled history, killed more than 170 people, wounded more than 6,000 and caused damage worth $10 and $15 million. Among the damaged structures were museums, historic buildings, art galleries and religious sites in Beirut. Lithuania on Thursday designated the Lebanese militant Hezbollah group as a terrorist organization and issued a 10-year ban on all individuals related to the Iran-backed group from entering the Baltic nations' territory. After receiving valuable information from our foreign partners, we can assume that Hezbollah is functioning on the principles of terrorist organization, Foreign Minister Linas Linkevicius said. Linkevicius added, without elaborating, that some persons with the Iran-backed organization also pose threat to Lithuania's national security. Hezbollah emerged as a ragtag guerrilla group in 1980s, funded by Iran to battle Israeli troops occupying southern Lebanon. A protracted guerrilla war characterized by rockside bombs and sniper attacks eventually forced Israel to withdraw in May 2000. With the exceptions of an inconclusive month-long war in 2006, the volatile frontier has largely remained calm. At least 8 children under the age of 5 have died in recent days from health problems linked to the dire conditions in a camp in northern Syria housing tens of thousands of female supporters of the Islamic State group and their children, the UN said on Thursday. The United Nations Children's Agency said the 8 died between August 6 to 10 from malnutrition or dehydration from diarrhea. The camp has yet to report any outbreak of the new coronavirus, which has sickened people in other parts of war-torn Syria. Any child's death is tragic. It is even more so when the death could have been averted, UNICEF said in a statement. Crews scrambled to protect homes from a huge wildfire that prompted evacuations north of Los Angeles, and officials warned the blaze could flare up again on Thursday as a blistering heat was descended on California. The fire exploded in size within hours after it broke out in dense forest on Wednesday afternoon, sending up a towering plume visible for hundreds of miles around. Flames raged across ridges and steep slopes, including in some areas that had not burned since 1968, fire officials said. By Thursday night, the blaze still threatened more than 54,000 homes and had charged through 17 square miles of bush and forest land. This is Jyoti reporting for Our Voice.